Qatar is a constitutional monarchy located in the Middle East in West Asia. The official name of the country is Qatar, Dawli Qatar. The capital Doha has been the host of the 2006 Asian Games, the 2030 Asian Games, and the 2022 World Cup. It has an abundance of oil and natural gas. Qatar's GDP per capita is ranked from 1st to 3rd in the world based on the IMF and CIA World Factbook. At approximately $90,000, it is a very wealthy country. This number is exceptional compared to other oil-rich countries in the Middle East, such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Oman. However, Qataris did not live affluently from the beginning, and evidence that people lived there during the Stone Age has been found. Since desertification has already been in progress since the BC era, few people lived there historically except for a few traders or nomads. It is a desolate region that even Portugal, which once conquered the Persian Gulf and dominated some areas, did not attack them. Doha, the capital of Qatar, was also not an important trading port. After the country was founded in the mid-18th century, residents lived on poling or trading, barely making ends meet.
In the 1930s and 40s, the pearl industry was in decline, and the economy was not good enough to sustain even 20,000 people. However, as oil mining began in earnest in the 1950s, the economy turned around, and as soon as Qatar became independent in the 1970s, an oil boom erupted and it became a world-class rich country. It was also almost bombed by its ally, the United States. As a result, feelings in Qatar toward the United States became mixed and began to deteriorate. In the early days of the coronavirus outbreak, at one point Qatar had the world's highest proportion of confirmed cases of coronavirus infection per capita in the world, with more than 4% of the population confirmed to be infected.
For reference, at that time, the serious rates in the United States and Brazil were about 2%. Korea was at 0.03%. Later, in October, Bahrain and Andre's ratio of confirmed cases to population surpassed that of Qatar. In early 2021, the most contagious United States surpassed 10%, leaving Qatar far from being the most severely affected country.
Qatar is located on the Qatar Peninsula, bordered on 3 sides by the Persian Gulf and Saudi Arabia to the south. In addition to Saudi Arabia, it is close to Bahrain to the west, the United Arab Emirates to the east, Iran, another Middle Eastern powerhouse to the north, and Kuwait and Iraq to the northwest.
If you look at the world map, Qatar is so small that the printed name of the country is larger than the country's area. It is the fourth smallest country in the Middle East. Qatar is extremely hot because the entire country lies in a tropical climate. In midsummer, the wet bulb temperature dew point exceeds 30 to 35 degrees, so it is highly safe for those who are weakened by heat or vulnerable to sunstroke. A Korean who works as a flight attendant for Qatar Airways wrote in a book that it is insanely hot. Heat waves and tropical lights continue throughout the year, so you can turn on the air conditioner indoors. But when you turn on the water to do laundry, hot water heated by the sun pours out. Therefore, despite being an oil-producing country, there is no need to use oil to heat water. It is said that the water is quite hot, so you can get burned in the middle of the day, and you have to use it after midnight or at dawn to get lukewarm water. For reference, because of the hot temperature, Qatar's only water park, Aqualand Qatar, is said to have more visitors in the evening than during the day. In this climate, exercise is reduced since everyday life outdoor is very difficult, which is why over 40% of Qatar's population is obese. A blogger who went to see the Qatar Stars League also described that the league was troubled by the heat. To avoid the hot weather, players usually train after the sun goes down. Al Saad's home stadium, Jassim bin Hamad Stadium, is famous for having air conditioning on the field.
The maximum daytime temperature in summer is a little over 40 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is very high due to the proximity of the sea. Average temperatures approach 50 degrees. Even at night, the temperature is about 30 degrees and the humidity is about 90%, so tropical nights are typical.
In general, the heat of the Middle East is a dry heat caused by direct sunlight and ultra-high temperatures, and differs from the heat of Southeast Asia, which is characterized by high temperatures and humidity. Because of this, even in the middle of summer when the temperature is close to 50 degrees, if you are in the shade, you can still stand it. However, since Qatar is surrounded by the sea on three sides, humidity is added to make the entire area resemble a hot steam sauna.
For this reason, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar will be held in winter, November 20th to December 18th, for the first time in World Cup history. The date of the final is 1 week before Christmas and overlaps with Qatari national holidays. Once part of the British Commonwealth, Qataris now speak both Arabic and English. The population is composed of Arabs and a minority of British people.
Originally, when Qatar became independent from the British Protectorate, it almost joined the United Arab Emirates along with Bahrain. But that move fizzled out and it became independent as a separate country. The Arabic spoken in Qatar is a dialect of Arabic called Gulf Arabic. What is unusual is that Qatar joined as a member of Francophonie in 2012. German is also taught as a second foreign language.
Qatar is nominally a constitutional monarchy. However, the king's authority is strong and the prime minister's position is monopolized by the royal family, so it can be seen as a de facto authoritarian system. The first general elections for the National Assembly were scheduled for 2013 but were delayed and held in 2021. Qatar's constitutional monarchy, like neighboring Saudi Arabia's National Assembly, includes no political party, so it is not a system in which the leader of a majority party becomes the prime minister, and one-third of the parliament is only an advisory body appointed by the Emir, that is the king. Voting rights were restricted Qatari descendants in 1930, and all members of parliament are independent. So it is difficult to compare to a British-style parliamentary monarchy. As in Saudi Arabia, as of the early 1990s, the country's ruling house, the House of Thani, had 6,000 members. As the Qatari monarch bears the title of Emir, Lord and the King, the Sani clan uses the title of Shaikha rather than Princess. From the 1970s to the 1980s, Qatar was conservative. Its extreme Wahhabism was comparable to Saudi Arabia. Wealth was concentrated in some royal families, and the common people were poor. However, in 1993, when Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani came to power, he was politically moderate, nationalized the national wealth, crude oil and natural gas, that had been privately owned by the royal family, and based on this, implemented welfare policies for the people. Unlike the Arab kingdoms of the Middle East, Qatar tried to instill democracy in its people, and now it is a constitutional monarchy rather than an absolute monarchy, and the parliament is operated by electing local members. Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani abdicated the throne to his fourth son, Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, on 25 June 2013 in a televised address. People's support for the former king was very high. Friday in Qatar and for Muslims is the same day as Sunday in Western countries. Government offices and schools where Qatari Muslims work are open 5 days a week and closed on Fridays and Saturdays. However, most general companies work 6 days a week and only take Fridays off. In the Qatari calendar, red numbers are used for Fridays and blue numbers for Saturdays.
In Qatar's schools, all girls wear hijabs, and segregation of the school's male and female students is strict. The University of Qatar even has separate male and female campuses.
The Quran is included in compulsory subjects. In Qatar, major lectures at the colleges of engineering, pharmacy, and business are taught in English. Qatar experiences occasional rain in the winter, and sandstorms occur almost every year.
Qatar rents out houses for free to citizens who have graduated from university, and the rented house can be owned by the person who rented it after 10 years. In addition to this, water bills, electricity bills, medical expenses, education expenses, etc. are free in Qatar, and even income tax is exempted.
The downside of living in Qatar is that the weather is a bit hot. But Qatar, rich in social welfare, seems to be the most livable dream country in the world. Thank you for watching the video Qatar provided by History and Current Events. I'm Mia, Rebecca, Katie, Leah and Tony have contributed so far as narrators. Thank you.